that he to serve the county, leading a serving from 1970 to county serving and renovation serving work are still evident today in the preservation and restoration and renovation historical trim work serving staircases in the courthouse. Work are still evident today in the preservation and restoration and renovation historical trim work serving staircases in the courthouse. Work are still evident in the building commissioner where he has supervised, trained, and supported the other inspectors. Whereas in 2010, Tim led the county in the study and adoption of the International Residential Building Codes and Energy Code to ensure the fair and safe housing. 2000 all new residential construction. Tim led the county in the study and adoption of the International Residential Building Codes and Energy Code to ensure the fair and safe housing for many years. All new residential better. Tim led the county in the study and adoption of the International Residential changes Building Codes and Energy Code to ensure the fair and safe housing for many years. All new residential better. Tim led the county in the study and adoption of the International Residential changes Building Codes and Energy Code to ensure the fair and safe housing for many years. All new residential better. Tim led the county in the study and adoption of the International Residential changes Building Codes and Energy Code to ensure the fair and safe housing for many years. All new residential better. Tim led the county in the study and adoption of the International Residential changes Building Codes and Energy Code to ensure the fair and safe housing for many years. All new residential County Board of Commissioners that Tim Earls is hereby recognized and commended for over 41 years of public service with and for Sullivan County. And Tim, it is certainly my privilege on behalf of the mayor and the rest of the commission to present this to you. And if you'd like to say a few words, you're more than welcome, sir.
I'd like to say just a few words. I've been here so long, I've grown up here. I've served under all these gentlemen over here except for the first one. And I've served under all these. It's been a wonderful career up here. I've enjoyed the biggest part of it. And if you see me back up here again, it'll probably be sitting in here somewhere. But I do appreciate it. I loved my job, but I'm going to love my retirement better. So thank you very much.
One more thing. Okay. So from my family and our department, actually Michaela picked this out.
Okay, good.
And the Crawfords put on, I figured he's got about 50 plaques, so I didn't think he needed another plaque. And you're very handy, and I thought you would enjoy that.
Yes, thank you very much.
Oh, okay. And a card from the guy.
Oh, that's fancy.
Yeah, something different. Thanks. So I cannot thank you enough. Tim has, we've worked together for 20 years now. It's hard to believe. So half his career basically he was stuck with me. And I think he's kept me challenged as well as in check. And he will be greatly missed by our department. So thank you for giving us this time. Normally we would have had a reception. We just can't do that these days. So thanks for your time.
Thank you.
And thank you all for letting me participate in that. That's truly a treat. And for our record, Terry Hawkroad has also checked in to our meeting. So that brings our count up to 20. Is that correct?
20 present, 4 absent.
All right. And spread on the members' desk, we have the approval of the commission meetings from our previous meeting. Do I hear a motion to approve?
So moved.
We need to do that by roll call. We have proper motion, proper second. Madam Clerk, if you'll take the roll for the approval of the commission meetings. Minutes, please.
Akerd,
He said,
Blaylock. I'm sorry, I need to state for the recording. Commissioner Akerd voted yes. Broughton. Commissioner Broughton votes yes. Calton.
Yes.
Commissioner Calton votes yes. Cole. Commissioner Cole absent. Crawford.
Yes.
Cross.
Yes.
Commissioner Cross.
Yes. Yes.
he's trying to get,
Commissioner Cross. Thumbs up if you're yes. Okay.
Yes.
Commissioner
Can you
Cross
not hear?
votes yes. Crosswhite.
trying to,
Yes. Yes.
Commissioner Crosswhite votes yes. Gardner.
yes.
George. Where is she? Commissioner George. Commissioner George absent. She is here, but she's not voted. No, Andy's trying to get the volume up, but I didn't see her name on here. She must have signed up.
I'm here.
No, that's okay. That's okay.
I'm here. Can y'all hear me?
Commissioner Glover.
Yes.
Harper Road.
That was a win.
Commissioner Harper Road.
I can hear you.
Thumbs up if yes.
Can you hear us, Terry?
You hear it? Yeah. Okay.
Just a note. Do we record him as a?
You can't record him as a yes
Just
if he
a-
didn't answer. Just, I would say your best bet's abstain because he
Did not
didn't,
vote or
yeah,
did not.
because he didn't respond at all.
Heron. Hutton.
Yes.
Commissioner Hutton.
Commissioner Hutton. Commissioner Hutton.
Commissioner Hutton votes yes. Jones. Commissioner Jones.
Yes.
Give us a thumbs up if you can hear us. If you vote
Yes.
Thumbs up for a yes vote on the commission minutes.
Yes.
Commissioner King. Commissioner King's absent. Leonard.
Yes.
Commissioner Leonard.
Yes.
Commissioner Leonard votes yes. Locke. Morrell.
Yes.
Stanley.
Stanley.
Yes.
Starnes. Stidham.
Yes.
Vance.
Yes.
Absent.
Would everyone
Did you
that
get my
voted
vote?
yes, give a thumbs up? Oh, can you hear us? The commissioners that are not present in the room, can you hear us?
I can hear you.
I can hear you. I can hear you.
I can hear you, Teresa.
I can hear
Okay,
you.
from this point on, if you're gonna vote yes, thumbs up, no, thumbs down.
Yeah, those are the, yeah. I've got all of them.
Okay, the vote on, to approve the commission minutes for last month is, 19 yes,
So we're five, I've got turned all the way up.
4 absent, 1 failed to record.
After receiving necessary majority of the votes for passage, the approval of commission minutes from previous meeting are approved. Next order is the approval of notary publics. Madam Clerk, if you could read the list.
Akerd,
Is you going to read the list of the notaries?
oh, sorry, I'm a little bit discombobulated.
Oh, I understand.
The notes to be elected for July 16th are Melody S. Adenolfi Pearson, Karen Osman, Patricia M. Anderson, Lori Ankers, Dennis Anthony, Stephanie Archer, Paulina Bell, Monica P. Branham, James Gregory Brashers, James Michael Brown, Travis Shane Byington, Andy L. Carter, Angela Lynn Cook, Haven B. Crawley, Sean E. Eberhart, Angie Fleener, Mickey G. Foster, Tracy R. Gibson, Nicole Hogston, Justin Horn, Teresa Gale Huff, Deborah Jackson, Kelly J. Johns, Rebecca Joyce Ketchy, Sherry Lane, Sean Michael Light, Marla Lynette Lockwood, Andrew Lyon, Rachel Cross McLean, Charles L. Moffett IV, Jonathan Mott, Michael T. Oliver, Karen Annette Pearson, Neil R. Shaw, Zachary Maxwell Scholes, Tyler James Smith, Jean Lee Smith, Deborah S. Summing, Tracy Dolan Taylor, Sheila Jeanette Thompson, Katrina D. Weaver, Gwendolyn M. Whitten.
You've heard the list.
Okay, I will.
Madam Clerk, if you will, take the vote for approval of the notary publics.
Akerd? Commissioner Akerd?
Please, if everyone would hold a thumb up so we could see that, that'd be a great help.
Blaylock? Broughton? Calton?
Yes.
Cole? Cole's absent. Crawford?
Yes.
Cross?
Yes.
Crosswhite? Commissioner Crosswhite?
Yes.
Gardner?
Yes.
George? Commissioner George absent. Glover?
Harkroad. Commissioner Harkroad.
It looks frozen. Say, we can't see or hear you, Commissioner Harper.
Commissioner Harkroad, we cannot see you or hear you. Heron. Hutton.
Yes.
Jones. Jo- Jones absent. King. Commissioner King. Commissioner Leonard.
Yes.
Locke. Morrell. Stanley.
Yes.
Yeah.
Starnes. Stidham.
Yes.
Vance. Commissioner Vance.
Can't hear you, man.
Commissioner Vance votes.
Yes.
And Woods absent. 18 yes, 5 absent, 1 failed to vote.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. After receiving the majority of the necessary votes needed for passage, the notaries stand approved. At this time, we're going to enter into item 1, which is our zoning agenda. So first, we'll need to adopt item number 1 so we can recess to hear the amendments. So, Madam Clerk, if you will, call the roll on item 1.
Akerd. Commissioner Akerd.
Yes.
Give a thumbs up. If you're going to vote yes, thumbs up. No, thumbs down. Blaylock. Broughton. Calton.
Yes.
Cole. Absent. Crawford.
Yes.
Cross.
Yes.
Crosswhite.
Yes.
Gardner.
Yes.
George. Commissioner George. Absent. Glover. Harker Road.
He votes yes.
Heron. Hutton.
Yes.
Jones. Commissioner
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Yes. King. King's absent. Leonard.
Yes.
Commissioner Leonard was a yes. Locke. Morrell. Stanley.
Yes.
What is it?
Commissioner Stidham.
Yes. Yes.
And Wood absent. 20 yes, 4 absent.
After receiving the necessary votes for passage, item 1 is adopted. We stand in temporary recess for explanation on the zoning amendments. I recommend in the well, Ms.
Okay,
Torben.
thank you very much. So if you'll turn to your rezoning packet, you should have received at work session or on your desk. We only have one case to present to you for Mr. Danny Bartley. This property is owned by 19E Properties LLC. And he's here if you have any questions. But basically, this went before our planning commission last month. His request is to rezone from A1 to M1. And you have a survey in your packet. He is only rezoning the buildable area on off of Highway 19E and keeping the mountainside A1. Bluff City's urban growth boundary, however, they don't have retail outside their city limits. So the Planning Commission unanimously recommended in favor of this request. The purpose of this rezoning is so that they can build storage units primarily for boats and RVs or mini storage. So, we're recommending in favor of this request. It conforms to the land use plan. It has good road frontage on the Highway 19E in the Bluff City area out in the county. And it's in our future growth area. But refer to the survey by Iron Mountain Survey to show you exactly the parcels that will be rezoned. We didn't have any opposition to this request either.
Mrs. Torben, is anyone here to speak on this?
Mr. Bartley is here if you have any questions for him.
And I have Commissioner Glover has a question.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I've known Mr. Bartley and his son Trevor for a pretty good while. They're a very good asset to the community. They do have other businesses in that area that they take very good care of. This is in my district, and I would highly recommend in favor of this. I would appreciate your vote yes on this, and let's move forward so Mr. Bartley could get his development started. Like I said, I highly recommend this. Thank you for voting yes.
Well, if there's no further questions, the accountant renews her motion for adoption.
Can Mr. Bartley speak?
He sure can.
Come on up, Mr.
Sorry about that. I didn't see anybody volunteering. He will, sir, if he'll come.
M1, what you all requested. Just confirming, yes.
Okay. Just confirming from what type of zoning.
Yes, his son appeared at the planning commission meeting and they're,
You'll
Partners
press your
on this.
button, Commissioner Aaron. Recognize you, sir.
Amber, just one question for curiosity's sake. It's going to be rezoned to M1. I was wondering what it would be like a B2 or something of that nature.
Yeah, B2 is only reserved for downtown Blumpville. That's the core business district of the historic district. A B1 is a neighborhood business. A B3 is our general business. It's actually the most broad zoning district. So B3 allows a lot of different things. We discussed this with the applicants, and we've studied the other zoning districts for other storage buildings, and M1 fits their needs. They're not going to do general business. It's for boats and RV storage. It'll be a bigger building. It's right on Highway 19E. And so they have other businesses closer to the industrial park where they have their offices. They own Interstate Awning and Sign Company and have other lease space. So this isn't going to be for retail.
And M1, is that going to be a spot zone?
No, if you look at your map, I included the Bluff City zoning. And on the back side of this hillside is where the Mays have been selling dirt and mulch and shale for years and years and years. So it's very close to the industrial park and industrial area of Piney Flats / Bluff City. And there are other storage type facilities in the area. So across the street is a Dollar General. There's no subdivisions, no single family. Previous owner had already started grading the land. It's not really set up for, retail. This is probably the highest and best use.
Anyone else have any questions? Seeing none, Madam Clerk?
Akerd,
Yes.
Blaylock, Broughton,
I can hit it when it gets to the screen.
Calton.
Yeah.
Cole, absent. Crawford,
Yes.
Cross,
Yes.
Crosswhite,
Yes.
Gardner,
Yes.
George. Commissioner George. Absent. Glover.
Yes.
Harkrow. Terry, you're frozen. Can you hear us?
We can't hear him or see him, either one.
Oh, we can see. Terry, we can't hear you or see you. You're frozen. Sharon?
Yes.
Hutton?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
King?
Yes.
Commissioner Leonard?
Yes.
Locke?
Yes.
Morrell?
Yes.
Stanley?
Yes.
Starnes? Stidham?
Yes.
Vance?
Yes.
Woods? Absent. Let's see. 19 yes, 4 absent, and 1 failed to vote.
After receiving the necessary majority for passage, hereby declare the zoning amendment passed.
Thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you. We'll now enter back into regular session. And I have a list for folks that have signed up for public comment, and I'm going to do the best I can with some of the names here. I'm going to call them in order that they wrote them down. We'll start with Randall Haga. Did I say your name correct? Okay, well, I'll move on if he comes back. Okay. Val Cosmiter, is that correct? Did I say that right? You will come to the well, sir, and reintroduce yourself and your name and your address.
Yep, my name is Val Cosmiter. I'm here representing the Boone Lake Association. We're headquartered here in Piney Flats, Tennessee. I personally live in Johnson City. There is a motion or a proposal that I think y'all are going to see tonight to provide some funding, which monies come from the TVA Economic Impact Funds that are doled out as long as the Boone Dam repair project is underway. So further on in the meeting, I believe if I understand the protocol, we're going to have an opportunity to discuss that.
Yeah.
Proposal, and
Yeah,
we'll be here to
here.
answer any questions that may come up during the course of that proposal.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Thanks a lot, sir. Next on the list, John Wireman.
Val speaks for me as well.
Okay, thank you, sir. Mr. Mike Rutherford, if you will come to the front and reintroduce yourself with your address.
Mike Rutherford, 1061 Royal Creek Lane, Bluff City, Tennessee.
Thanks, sir. You're recognized, sir.
We got an agreement on getting the driveway put in, and I've talked with Mr. Morrell, and I think he's gonna ask for it to be postponed for till next month so we can get the construction done.
Thank you, sir. Jordan Carrier. Thank you, Mr. Carrier.
Jordan Carrier, 552 Riddle Creek Road. The only thing that I had to say was about the wording of, I guess, the resolution. It has the heirs of the Pippin estate, and I actually bought the property in the changing of that. We talked about maybe making an amendment to this. I do agree that it can be deferred to next month. Me and Mike have made an agreement on a driveway that accesses his property. That way the county has no issue with letting this go. I actually have a check for our contractor that's already been pulled, so we know that there is movement on that. They've cut a few trees and they're going to start grade work hopefully tonight on this driveway. They said it'd take about 3 to 4 days given weather. So there is movement forward on that. The only thing that I had was about the amendment to the name to where it will go into my name instead of the Pippin heirs.
Do you seek recognition, Commissioner Morrell?
Thank you, Mr. Gardner. I think what Jordan is alluding to is on the resolution, it was the Pippin heirs that it's stating, but Mr. Jordan Carrier had actually at that time purchased the property from him or in the process of purchasing it, and there could be an amendment possibly added to that. I just wanted to get with Dan on that, make sure that that's, that would be a proper thing for us to do. But Jordan will look into that and everything.
Okay, I just wanted to bring it up now since there's going to be another month, but I have no objections to defer to next month. That way we can handle our business. So.
Very well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Jordan.
Attorney Street, you recognize, sir?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I've sent out 2 waivers on this case, one for Mr. Rutherford and one for Mr. Carrier to sign. They probably are already aware of that, but I just wanted to make sure they were. Which is, we need them both signed in order to pass this resolution.
Right. Mr. Chairman, Dan, what I was going to do when we get to resolution number 2 here shortly, I'll give a brief explanation about that and everything, so everybody will know and hear, and it kind of goes hand in hand with what Mr. Rutherford and Mr. Carrier both has mentioned about deferring it till next month. So when it comes to when we get to resolution number 2, we'll address that.
Thanks, sir. Randall Hogg, I'm sorry I bypassed you. Did you come back in?
Yeah.
For, if you will, you're on the list for.
I'll defer if someone else wants to go. Or do you have anyone else?
I have one more. I'll recognize Jerry Frank.
Yeah, Val spoke for me too. I'm with the Boone Lake Association.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Mr. Hogg, you're recognized in the well, sir.
Okay, I think I'll pass for right now since there's Mayor Venables not here and some of the other people. So I wanted them to be present when I
Okay.
have my thought.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
If no one else wishes to address the commission, public comment portion of the agenda is now closed. We move into our regular agenda. Without objection, Commissioner Morrell, you're recognized on item number 2, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Fellow commissioners, if you recall last month on resolution number 2, we actually deferred this to this month. So the 2 concerned individuals, that's Mr. Carrier and Mr. Rutherford, could work out a solution on this. That's what we had asked them to do.
they have worked out a solution on this, and they're both in agreement to that. And that solution is actually a driveway. They're both participating in putting in a driveway on Mr. Rutherford's property off of Real Creek Road. Now, as they've come to agreement with that, Dan had actually, as he just mentioned, he actually drew up some waiver forms where really basically it's holding the county harmless when this entire road is actually closed. Okay, and there again, both parties are in agreement to it with the solution of the driveway. And so what has happened, Mr. Carrier has signed the waiver on his, for himself. And earlier today, Mr. Rutherford's attorney had called Dan and had told Dan that he was requesting a deferral on this till next month, which gives the Mr. Carrier and Mr. Rutherford time to get this solution, which is the driveway, completed by next month. He being the attorney for Mr. Rutherford, advised Mr. Rutherford not to sign the waiver until they get the driveway, which is the solution, the agreement, completed. And so that's where we're at with this right now. If it pleases the commission, and it would be all right with the commission, I would ask that we defer this for one more month until August at the regular meeting at that time. Both have assured me that the solution, the driveway, will be completed by then. I asked Dan if he had an issue with it, deferring it. He said he had no problem with that. I asked our planning commission if Ms. Torbett, if she had any issue with it. She said it was fine. I asked Jim Montgomery with the highway department if there was any issue with it, and he said no, that would be fine. So I think I pretty well got all this covered on it. And if anyone, I answer any questions if I can about this. If it's okay with commission, I'd like to defer this to next month.
Does anyone have any questions for the sponsor? Without objection, item number 2 is deferred till next month. Next order, item number 3, brought to us by Commissioner Herschel Glover, co-sponsored by Commissioner Dwight King. Commissioner Glover, you're recognized, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This resolution is to approve funding for skimmer equipment for Boone Lake. The Boone Lake Association has taken a very active part in working towards maintaining the water integrity of Boone Lake throughout the years, especially during this crisis that we've had with Boone Dam reconstruction. The association is anticipating an increase in floating debris associated with the lake refilling process and wishes to be prepared to expedite the removal of the debris. And whereas Washington and Sullivan counties, as well as the cities of Johnson City, Kingsport, and Bristol, have received TVA impact recovery funds due to the construction of Boone Dam. And whereas the city of Johnson City and Washington County has approved funding for $125,000 to purchase a skimmer for the Watauga River channel feeding Boone Lake. And whereas additional, the Boone Lake Association is requesting Sullivan County to approve partial funding of a skimmer for the Holston River channel. And the association will also be making a request to Kingsport and Bristol for that purpose. Therefore, it be resolved that Sullivan County Board of Commissioners meeting in regular session this day that $62,500 be appropriated to the Boone Lake Association to assist with the purchase of a skimmer for the Holston River channel on Boone Lake. Last week at our workshop, I did hand out some information to you guys. This is from Mr. David Hughes. He's PhD professor at the University of Tennessee. One of the questions that I asked him was about the kind of economic impact that Boone Lake has on this area. And he sent me back some information that's very interesting. It's $72.5 million annually. That's a lot of money. And providing this skimmer for Boone Lake is an association that would help us put a piece of the puzzle in to finish out the impact that it's had on the folks in that area. This skimmer that will be purchased by the Boone Lake Association is identical to the skimmer that was appropriated from the city of Johnson City and Washington County for those folks. I did ask some questions to the folks from the Boone Lake Association. This vessel will be fully insured. The folks will be using this vessel to remove debris in the Holston River Channel and other areas. On your desk, I did provide for you guys and ladies too, kind of a idea of how this vessel works. If you look on the front page, you'll see the basket in the middle. This vessel travels along, skims the debris off the top of the lake. All the debris, small debris, bottles, cans, etc., goes into that basket. And if you look over on the second page, you'll see the front of how that stuff is gathered up on is the second picture down. And then on the last page, it shows how the removal of the basket works. There'll be a small track hole on site. These folks will be working local with our boat docks and our folks in that area to provide dumpsters. This track hole will remove this basket from the skimmer. This debris will be dumped into dumpsters, and then it will be removed and took to our local landfill. Like I said a minute ago, I think it's a very unique piece of equipment. Jerry's here with Boone Lake Marina. He will be providing the motor that will be mounted on this vessel. I think it'll be stored, both of them will be stored at that facility until it's used. I want to applaud Boone Lake Association for all the work that they do on the lake. And with the lake coming back up, hopefully this coming year, April, somewhere in that area, I hope that they'll be prepared. I know they will to get our lake back being beautiful like it was before, and get the folks back in this area to spend some tax money. And I would like to say, to give you an idea, went to school with a fellow who graduated. He went to ETSU. He graduated from East Tennessee State, and he moved away to Greensboro. About a month ago, he made his way back to Sullivan County. The first thing he done is he ran into a camping spot at Lakeview RV on 11E. The second thing he done, he went and got his fishing license and his trout stamp. So that goes to show you how big of an impact that this makes on this area. I would appreciate your support on this, and I'm sure they would too. I'm open to any questions if you guys have any.
Does anyone present have any questions for the sponsor?
Commissioner Gardner, would you please call for the question? And I'd urge everybody to vote yes on this resolution. I'm 100%, 110% behind it. So I think it's a good thing for Boone Lake and Sullivan County. So everybody vote for it. Thanks.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions? Seeing none.
No. Call for the question.
Commissioner, I've got a system here, brother. Commissioner Glover, I recognize you for final comment on the resolution.
Commissioner King is right. We need to have a question and vote on it.
All right, there we go.
Thank you.
Madam Clerk, call the roll on item number 3.
Point of order. Point of order,
Yes.
Chair.
Okay.
Blaylock.
Excuse me, Dr. Hutton has a parliamentary inquiry, sir.
I believe that we have to actually vote on calling the question before we can actually vote on the question. I may be wrong, but I think that's the process. When somebody calls the question, you're supposed to vote on calling the question.
Well, he's calling for the vote, so I'll defer to Attorney Street for that.
That is correct, Mr. Chairman, but nobody objected, so I guess that's why it went on through. But if there is somebody that wanted to speak and they weren't allowed to speak, then there has to be a vote on the call of question. That is correct.
Well, I gave Commissioners comment on the resolution. No one else was seeking recognition. So was I in order to call for the vote, Chairman? Because I didn't hear any objection. Does that answer your question, Dr. Hutton?
Yeah, I mean, however you want to do it, you're the chair.
Ask if anybody wants to speak.
Let's try it one more time. Does anyone seek recognition?
Oh.
No.
Without objection.
Without objection. Again, Madam Clerk.
Hey, Cooper.
Roll.
Wait just a minute. Mommy,
Are you asking to be recognized, Darlene?
no, I was talking to my dog.
Akers,
Yes.
Blaylock. Yes. Broughton.
Yes.
Calton.
Yes.
Cole, absent. Crawford. Commissioner Crawford,
He's left.
absent. Cross.
Yes.
Crosswhite,
Yes.
Gardner,
Yes.
George. Commissioner George, absent. Glover,
Yes.
Harkroad. Is Commissioner Harkroad still frozen? Heron,
Yes.
Hutton,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
King,
Yes.
Leonard,
Yes.
Locke,
Yes.
Morrell,
Yes.
Stanley,
Was that the
Yes.
question or the skip?
Starnes, Stidham,
Yes.
Vance,
Yes.
give me just a minute, let's see. Not 20. I'm coming up with 23 for some reason. Oh. 19 yes, 4 absent, 1 failed to vote.
After receiving the necessary majority of the votes for passage, item 3 is adopted. Without objection, item number 4, sponsored by Commissioner Hutton and others. Commissioner Hutton, you are recognized, sir.
This resolution is on first reading here. It's to adopt the rules and procedure for the commission. You had it at the work session. If you have any questions about it, but basically we've just revised our rules. You can see there what's been tweaked and changed, some of which is to accommodate electronic means and that sort of thing. So I renew my motion for first reading.
Without objection, item number 4 on first reading, we'll take that up at our next scheduled meeting. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Item number 5, sponsored by Commissioner Todd Broughton and Commissioner Terry Harkleroad. Commissioner Broughton, you're recognized, sir, on resolution number 5. We can't hear you, Commissioner. Hold on one second while we have. Would it be in order for me to call him on my mobile and put him on speaker?
Can you hear me at all?
We can hear you now. There we go.
Okay. We discussed this in our work session. Scotty called me and asked if we could go ahead, or excuse me, Highway Commissioner Murray called and asked me if we could put this on the waiver rules. This is just an agreement that whenever the county highway department is paving a road, If part of that road is also in the city, they're going to pave the entire road and the city will reimburse them. And I'm open to any questions, and if I can't answer them, we'll see if we can get Commissioner Murray to, but we'd like to have this on waiver rules and go ahead and get on through tonight.
You've heard the explanation. Does anyone, I'm going to start with everyone electronically. Does anyone electronically wish to be recognized for questions on item number 5? Does anyone here in the courthouse seek recognition for questions on item number 5? Commissioner Broughton, I'm going to recognize you for final comment on item number 5. You're going to be asking for a waiver of rules requiring 16 votes. Is that correct, sir?
Yes, sir, that is correct. And just thank everybody for working together on this. Kingsport City and Sullivan County Highway Departments working together. And thank you to Scotty Murray and all the boys on the Highway Department for all they do.
Thank you, Commissioner Broughton. Commissioner Broughton renews his motion for passage on item number 5. Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Akerd,
Yes.
Blaylock, Broughton,
Yes.
Calton, Cole, absent,
When you can't hear them, repeat for the record what they vote.
Crawford, absent, Cross,
Yes.
Crosswhite,
Yes.
Gardner,
Yes.
George absent, Glover,
Yes.
Harker Road. Is he gone now? Harker Road absent, Heron,
Yes.
Hutton,
Yes.
Jones, Commissioner Jones,
You gotta have 16.
Commissioner Jones absent, King, Commissioner King, absent.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Leonard,
Yes.
Locke,
Yes.
Morrell,
Yes.
Stanley,
Yes.
Starnes, Stidham,
Yes. What? Say yes.
Are you voting, Commissioner Vance?
Yes.
and Woods is now present. Woods,
Yes.
how would you vote?
Say yes.
19 yes.
What is it?
Would anyone like to change their vote? 19 yes, 5 absent.
After receiving the necessary majority for passage, item number 5 is adopted. Without objection, item number 6, sponsored by Commissioner Crosswhite and others. Commissioner Crosswhite, you are recognized for explanation on item number 6.
Thank you, Commissioner Crawford. I hope you all received the packet that contained the original resolution. And it was rescinded numerous times. It was obvious they couldn't decide then what they wanted to do. It was amended on June the 14th, June the 18th, and July the 3rd. So that ought to tell you right then and there that this was not the best resolution going. I read over this the last work session. It is on first reading. If you have any questions, I'll be more than glad to answer them tonight, and we will bring it up then next month.
Is it anyone here in courthouse seek recognition? Commissioner Locke on the resolution.
We've rescinded this thing and voted on it over and over on what numbers to choose going in 2022 moving forward. But I don't understand how we can take a vote on something when we don't have the census back.
Commissioner Crosswhite.
Commissioner Locke, we're voting just to rescind the original resolution, which said 9 districts, 2 commissioners per district. What I'm wanting to do is wait until the census comes back and form a committee, and it might be different. We might need more than 9 districts. So that's why I'm asking to rescind the original resolution. Does that answer your question?
It does, but it's also, if the census does come back and it says we just need 9 districts, 2 commissioners per district, that's what's in place right now for 2022. What I'm saying is, let's wait till the census comes back and go from there instead of rescinding this resolution moving forward.
Well, like I said, this has been amended. The original resolution was amended 3 times. So it was obvious there was problems with that too. So I just think we need to rescind this resolution and start new.
Commissioner Calton, you're recognized.
Just want to comment that the census doesn't have anything to do with the numbers of commissioners.
That's true. True.
Does anyone else electronically seek recognition? Commissioner Glover, you're recognized, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The way the old resolution reads that we're talking about rescinding, and I'm going to read this to you. It says, now therefore it be resolved that the Board of County Commissioners of Sullivan County, Tennessee, assembled in regular session, hereby establish that members of the Sullivan County Commission shall be elected from 9 districts as defined by the boundaries established by the Commission after the 2020 census. That's what's in there. Okay. Then, if you read on, the new boundaries for the Commissioner districts as defined by the Commission are for all future elections. Nothing in this resolution shall be constructed as a bridging the status of any office holder prior to the end of such person's current term of office. So if we don't rescind this resolution, that means if it moves forward before we even do any redistricting or any information from the census, we're going to have 18 commissioners. And that's what we discussed at the workshop last week. I don't think it's fair for us to reduce from 24 to 18 until we see the reasoning for that happening. And I did make a comment last week about this. This should have been left up to the new commissioners that came in to office. It shouldn't have been done by a commissioner that got beat in the primary and wasn't going to be here to vote or wasn't going to be here to work forward on this. I know there was some language set that didn't want us to have to deal with this. Well, when we ran for office, we knew we were going to have to make some tough decisions, and I think we're big grown-ups about this. But I think this resolution needs to be rescinded. We need to move back to 24 members of this commission to move forward and see exactly what we are going to be up against. I think if we don't, we're putting the cart in front of the horse. So I did make a comment last week, and Randy's here, and he can tell you too, if we move to 18 commissioners, and Attorney Street, him and I discussed this in a little more detail after the meeting last week. If you go from the Washington County line, and you travel from there to the offset, if you drive it as hard as you can drive and do it by the speed limit, you're looking at over an hour. And that's the language that I used. It's not that we're not going to be representing the people. It's going to be a very, very large territory to represent. And then again, we don't know until it is brought back by the census. But reducing it to 18 now, I think is wrong. I think we need to leave it at 24 till we get all that back. And then when we get the information on the committee, let's move forward with it and see how many commissioners that we do need. What if we don't rescind this And then the census comes back and says, we need 24. We're gonna have to go right back to the drawing board again. So I'm in support of rescinding this resolution and leaving it at 24 till we get all the information put forth to us. Thanks.
Thank you, Commissioner Glover. Anyone else seek recognition on the resolution? Commissioner Morrell.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You guys will notice on what, what's on our desk here about the old resolution. I didn't vote for it back then. And the reason why I didn't vote for it back then, I thought it was unfair, particularly to the rural taxpayers in the county. And I certainly agree wholeheartedly with my fellow Commissioner Herschel here about that. And I understand this is on first reading, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I just want to make those comments. Thank you.
Anyone else seeking recognition? Commissioner Broughton, you're recognized, sir.
Thank you, Commissioner Gardner. One thing about this that folks need to think about too, when you do any sort of redistricting, sometimes you have unintended consequences. Like for example, in the BOE election 4 years ago, my district was redistricted, not because we changed numbers, but because the surrounding areas did. And that divided my district in half, basically, the district that I'd represented prior. So that's one thing you have to watch. Anytime you go to redistrict, you can have unintended consequences. So we need to approach this very cautiously and carefully. And, having something locked in before we even get started, in my opinion, is a bad move. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Broughton. Anyone else seeking recognition? I'm looking at the board here. Anyone joining us electronically seek recognition? Anyone else seeking recognition on item number 6? Commissioner Crosswhite, no one else is seeking recognition. I'll give you a final word on item number 6.
Thanks for everyone that put in their input. And I strongly hope that you all will rescind this original resolution because we're not sure where the districts are going to be. And we want all of Sullivan County represented equally. So like I said, it was obvious they had problems with the first resolution since it was amended 3 times. So I have spoken with Jason Boer about this resolution I'm doing, and he is on board with it. So we'll just wait and vote on it next month then.
Thank you, Commissioner Crosswhite. Item number 6 on first reading. Without objection, we're moving forward to item number 7, sponsored by Commissioner George and Commissioner Vance. If one of those could address Commissioner Vance, are you able to discuss item number 7? Commissioner Sam Jones also wish to be added as co-sponsors. Commissioner Stidham, do you wish to address item number 7? Does not. Commissioner Jones, does he wish to address item number 7? I feel like I need an interpreter. Do you wish to run this on first reading? No, he's not listening. Vance isn't. Do you wish to run this on first reading?
He's already dead.
Mr. Chairman, just do it as on first reading.
Without objection. Seeing no objection, item number 7 on first reading, we'll take that up next month.
Is Commissioner Stidham on that resolution? Commissioner Gardner?
He's asked to be put on as a co-sponsor, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Item number 8. Commissioner David Aker, co-sponsor with others. Commissioner Aker, I recognize you for explanation on item number 8.
Thank you, Commissioner Gardner. Can everybody hear me all right?
We can, sir.
All right, good. I got my audio technical problems worked out. This is on first reading. I wanted to get it on tonight, just so we can have a nice presentation on August the 13th. I've emailed everybody and had some great conversations with everybody about the excitement of this development going in downtown Bristol. I believe Tom Anderson's on the line, but I really didn't want to go too deep in the weeds tonight with this because everyone's, as we've all seen for the last hour, it's kind of a splintered situation. I'm trying to talk and communicate. But the highlights of this, as y'all saw in the email, there's a new commercial development going in downtown Bristol on the old Coin textile property that is contaminated and considered kind of a brownfield site. So FEMA is involved. And that's really what the TIF is to allow the developers to do, is to mitigate that problem. And they're going to buy the property from the city of Bristol. So it's currently on the city tax roll because Coin wanted rid of it and gave it to us pretty much for a whopping $9,900. And the city has torn down all the buildings. But as you saw in the sketches, the developers are going to build up 36 to 40 inches and then do some remediation with some barriers and drainage and everything for FEMA. So they're going to buy the land for $1 million and spend $1 million on remediation to correct the problems there. So that's what the TIF is for, $2 million for 20 years. If it reaches to that point, those are very conservative numbers based on the $14.8 million development they're going to do. The bottom level is commercial, so we're going to get sales tax revenue from a grocery store, and all their letters of intents right now, they're kind of on some non-disclosures, so those won't be talked about on August the 13th unless something changes. I mean, that's up to developers, and I'll let them decide to expose those or not. So we'll get some sales tax. We'll have 100 new residents in downtown lofts that'll be rented in the second and third floor. And then the businesses will equate to about 75 new employees for downtown Bristol. I'm not going to read the whole resolution. It's quite long. The numbers are in there. So right now we've got $0 coming in. We'll have about $7,500 coming in on the tax rolls for the next during the TIF, and then after the TIF, it's about $75,000, $80,000, depending on how the appraisers and then what the tax rate is and all that. So it's on first reading. If anybody's got any questions, don't mind asking them now, but I think we've got a couple of weeks before we have a presentation and do it in a better setting than this right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Akerd. Does anyone seek recognition for questions to the sponsor on the resolution? Anyone?
Commissioner Akerd?
Yes.
Do you have any way of knowing how much the different lofts are going to cost?
Not yet. I think they might be able to talk about that. The developers will, because they are different sizes. There's 4 ADA lofts, and then there's what's called a true loft, and then a 1 bedroom and 2 bedrooms. And so they've got what they hope to get. I mean, that's in a spreadsheet. And so for full disclosure, I do have a lot of those numbers, but I don't know if I have permission to bring that spreadsheet out yet, because on the Blackburn Childers Stegall accounting firm, if you saw that page, with a TIF, it'll cash flow positive of $106,000. Without the TIF, it is a negative $59,900. So, and that isn't a spreadsheet, but I did not share all those pages because I didn't feel like I had permission at this point yet. But that's what the presentation is on the 13th. It's going to be about.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else seeking recognition on item number 8? Anyone joining us electronically wish to ask a question? Seeing none, Commissioner Akerd, I recognize you for the final word on item number 8, sir.
Well, like I said, obviously this is a great opportunity to get some money in the door for Sullivan County and for Bristol. August 13th, we'll have the work session, and developers and economic, Tom Anderson will also be available to speak on it. And then also on the 20th, when we go to vote. So I appreciate your favorable vote. Thank you.
Thank you. That completes our regular order of business. Before I get into announcements, I have a note here. You can go to the WKPT website. There's Mayor Venable did an interview with the show. I think it looks like called Closer Look. He did an interview with them, and that interview is on the WKPT website if anybody's interested in checking that out. Does anyone have any announcements or personal orders they wish to share with the commission at this time? Commissioner Glover, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. August the 6th, we're having our farm field day at the Ag Center. We have talked to some folks that's in the industry, West Hills Tractor, folks like that are going to be there, and we're going to have booths and tables set up for everyone to kind of visualize what they sell, what they do. We hope to have a good turnout. I think this will probably give us a good turnout. Commissioner King and I have kind of been elected by the Cabinet Association to be in a dunk tank. So our fellow commissioners can purchase kind of balls to throw them at Commissioner King if you want to, but throw them at the target to try to dunk one of us. But that's kind of what we've got planned. Hopefully, if everything works out, and we can stay on course. And I think August the 6th, I believe, 5:30, something like that, 6 o'clock. So we hope to see everybody there. Thanks.
Thank you. So I think that's going to be an all-day event. What time does that start? Anyone joining us electronically have any announcements, personal orders they wish to share?
Commissioner Gardner.
Yes, ma'am.
I had a census meeting today, and I wanted to give you up to date on how the census is going. It sounds bad, but believe it or not, we're doing a little bit better. The national average right now is 62.1%. Now, these are people that have actually filled out their census. Tennessee is at 61.5. Sullivan County is at 64.1, and Kingsport is at 65.8. And I think I told you the last time that they have extended the census until October the 31st. We still have positions open for the, they call them the door-to-door workers. And that pays $19 an hour plus mileage if anybody's interested in it. But we need to get the word out to please fill out your census. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Andrew Cross, just now saw you. You're recognized, Commissioner Cross.
Just want to say you did a good job tonight.
Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you a bunch, really do.
I second that.
Well, thank you. I'd like to take a moment for myself. I normally don't like to do this, especially times like this. Remember my wife and her mother this upcoming week. We lost my father-in-law yesterday, and we're going to miss him a great deal. He was a fine man. The two things he enjoyed talking about the most was his Lord and his family, and we are going to miss him a great deal. We already do. And just think of us this weekend, especially my wife and her mother. And thank y'all for letting me share that. Entertain a motion to adjourn. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Didn't hear so.
Aye.
Thank y'all.